Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. As you can see, the altcoins during the weekend on the 4-hour RSI are on an average of 50. I won't focus on the ones that are pumping too much in here in the overbought area like Aave, Blur, but this time I'm gonna focus on the ones that are looking strong. For example, Sui, Link, LDO, and Ondo. Sui on the weekly continues to hold the ascending trend line that we've been talking for multiple weeks. For me personally, Sui is a great coin that if you've been holding since below $1, you should be considering to have the difficult discussion of where are you gonna start taking profits. For me, Sui requires to do a decent pullback to enter at these prices, which is something that happened actually this week. You can see that in the same week, Sui has done a spread of 31-32%. So when the fear was kicking in the market, Sui lost temporarily the support of 3.8 and went to $3.3. That was a great entry, but if you haven't taken that entry, re-entering at $4.6 with the RSI barely putting a new high, starting to look a lot more like a bearish divergence on the weekly, with the cross-view ratio at 10, the all-time high, and the longs extremely accumulated. I think there's many other coins that provide less risk and that they haven't had such a huge rally and can still give much better returns. Notice that on February we managed to get to 77, now we are getting to 78 twice in a row. Observe how is the topping process of Sui before and compare it to this, and sure, it can continue to put new highs. We could break down on the weekly in here and then hit it as resistance again at 77 RSI. If we did something like that, Sui will look something like this and then put a high somewhere at $5. That is very typical at that point. This high versus this high, comparing it with the double top on the RSI or with a lower high on the RSI, will be a very strong bearish divergence. So if you are still holding Sui at that point and you start seeing the breakdown and the retest and you are still not considering to take some profits, in my opinion, you're leaving a lot of risk on the table. And I'm not saying that that is the final top of the market. So if you are here just to hold until it really tops at the end of the bull market, then probably this analysis is not for you. This coin is relatively newly listed, so it's very difficult just by looking at this price action in here to call for an actual top of the market. There's too little history to do enough TA to find a top. For example, by using the extension, we have already gone beyond the extension 2 and almost getting to 2.618, which is quite overextended, to be honest. Let's go with Link. Link is one of these other coins that is having a pretty nice rally, belonging from coins that were listed in 2018, 2019, 2017 as well. We're talking about XRP, ADA, Link, from that generation. They did amazingly well in 2021, and the expectation from most of the influencers was that it was going to put a lower highs on this cycle. That hasn't been the case for many of those coins, including Tron as well, that put a new all-time high this cycle. So many people are wondering whether Link is gonna put a new all-time high and also reverse that expectation that many had. It's impossible really to tell, but looking at the technicals, we can see in here that if we just project the rally of March, we have done the humble 1272 and we still don't reach the golden pocket at $37. At the same time, the coin hasn't had any single decent pullback on the weekly. Of course, if we look at this on the daily, we are gonna see that there was a great opportunity again last week for buying the dip. Pretty much 28% drawdown in a single week, and then another rally of 56 to the upside from there. I'm gonna bring a few new levels of support in resistance from the previous cycle. $34 is very significant. Support at $28, roughly around there, because this initiated this 58% pullback. So now that we are facing the 1272, I would like to see $28 holding on a weekly basis for Link if we want to start talking about $34. After $34, it becomes really likely to get to $37.8, $38. LDO gave amazing entry end of October looking at the cross-view ratio. so far is up 122%. It's getting very close to the red area on the cross-V ratio, which is telling us that we might enter an area overheated like this one in here, where you remain in the red and start putting bearish divergences and topping signs. You can see that the volume weighted moving average was the perfect entry for this week retracement to $1.4. Let's do some support and resistance. $2.5 is very important, $3.2, and support is at 1.7 and 145. Definitely $0.9 has been significant to hold the price multiple times. Started with the bear market, and then again September just recently went to bear market prices. I'm gonna do a projection like this from the bottom of the bear market. So considering that this coin has been oscillating in the range of $4 to 40 cents, talking about the 0618 is very important. That is $2.8, and that is the next level apart from the resistance at $2.5. You could say that we have done a great job this week at holding 1.7 and 145, and that ideally we should be aiming to hit $2.5 in the next couple of weeks. That is the next resistance. If I wasn't on a trade on LDO, I wouldn't enter here necessarily. Support on the RSI is very far away at the moment, is at 44, which is so far that is almost useless. Basically support is at $1.1, and that is because in very few candles on the weekly we have done most of the explosive move. Pretty much 3 candles have done all the job. Let's go with Ondo. Ondo, again, we cannot use the RSI with these explosive moves, apart from calling from September the breakout and the retest end of October. We cannot really say much about where is going to be the support. For that, we're going to have to use support and resistance instead of RSI. The volume weighted moving average has been left behind below $1, and the price has already hit $2. That's how impulsive this has been. The all-time high at 148 is important, but I always like to see candle closes, so we're gonna use 137, and we can use as well an extension to see how far we got so far. And so far on this extension we have reached 1, so I will say conservative to start getting a bit itchy with selling. For those conservative traders is $2.4, for the most aggressive ones $2.9. You don't need to pick one, you can take some profits at 1.2 and the rest at 1.6, and remember that after this rally, if it ended here or there and then it had a retracement, and then later in 2025 we have another rally that could reach even higher, and that stands for any of the coins that we are talking about. I have a bias towards swing trading, so if that happens, what we do, assume we reach 2.8, in that case we do a new extension, but in this case from this bottom to that top, and how much we retrace during the summer retracement, which is typically very likely at that time in the cycle, and then we can start aiming for $5.6. The reason I don't do that is because we still don't have this high, and without the high defined and without the pullback low defined either, all we can do is just focus on this rally. But ultimately you can have this one rally pullback, another rally pullback, and another rally pullback. If we had 2 of those rallies in a row, then we start measuring if the second one reached less momentum than the first one, which means that for the third one it should be even smaller. That is very typical and very basic TA on altcoins, but I hope that helps you as well to have a vision of what we are trying to achieve, instead of thinking, oh, it's pretty disappointing, to just point to that initial target. So now you know that there can be an initial target, a pullback, reaccumulation, a second target. That all depends how well it does the first target as well. If it does great, then we can start speculating that we can have a second coming one and take advantage of that as well. Guys, if you like to trade altcoins, any of the ones I just mentioned, you can just go ahead and do it on Bybit. I have a link in the description offering up to 30,000 in rewards based on trading volume, and by using that link you also get the lowest fees to trade. And today is the end of my campaign on bluffing. We're probably gonna get a new one, I'll let you know in the future videos, but if you still wanna take advantage of this one that offers offers deposits and trade bonuses, go straight to the link in the description and open an account on Bluffin. This is a non-KYC exchange. That means that you don't need VPN, no need to do KYC, and you can open as many accounts as you want with different emails. Before you deposit, give it a try and see if it's requiring any VPN, because there are some exceptions in some locations where some people have reported they did indeed need VPN. If that's the case, I have a second alternative, non-KYC. In this case, this one is a copycat of Bybit, built by the same people from Bybit, offering 9k bonus and 40% discounts on fees. If Bluffin doesn't work and you end up needing VPN, then don't think about it and just give it a try with 2bit. I'm sure that one of them is gonna work out. And that means access to all the altcoins, leverage trading, futures, and all of that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the videos and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.